Ross, did I ever specify a quest for Geiger? I don't remember
Um,
having.
I don't think you specifically detailed it. I know you were excited about. I know obviously she's on a quest to find something to do with the colouring book,
Yeah,
but I don't think we
finding.
specified it in a sort of specific. This is how we would detail, so we would know this is how this is what has to happen, and then she's achieved the quest, which might be a useful thing to do.
Would a quest like finding some mouse scientist be okay?
Yeah, that's fine. It might well be so. It might be. I will have to think about the theoretical level of that quest, because it could be that it either is a higher level than just to say a level 1 quest, or a quest that is broken up into several steps. So finding leads to where mouse scientists might be a good start. Rather
Okay,
than,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'll but write something out. I put a little box on the character sheets for quests, because I've renamed one of the boxes that were already there. If you want to write anything in those, and I will find.
Yeah, I like how you phrased it in finding clues about the whereabouts of those mice.
That would be good.
Okay.
Unless people have any other questions or anything we need to look at, we will revisit where we were at the end of last session. We were again in the middle of a fight.
How comes?
That never happens.
So, where we left off, I believe the giant mutant pig with bad manners, had just taken his turn to try and surprisingly succeed in persuading his minions to join in the fight. So I should probably put in a little context of where we are and who's there. So the space in which we are viewing this fight is on the embankment just above where you spent most of your time in your previous fight. There's a octagonal metal structure which was being decorated by the work party of pigs and other people. A mishmash statue of a rabbit, for reasons to do with why they call this the market, whatever it was I said they call it. I've forgotten, the hoopis or something. There's a bit of an open space between them. And then a bit further up, some structures that once were made of glass but are now mostly skeletal metalwork on a slightly raised platform. And beyond that, you can just about make out amid the giant mutant grass some metal rails running parallel to where you're standing. And there's a sort of collapsed building and blast hole, shell hole over to. I should put some directions in here. So you are standing near the bandstand, which is to the north of you. To the south is the rabbit sculpture, and then past that and a bit to the southeast is a collapsed and dilapidated building, which has partly been at some point in the past exploded, but it's now a bit bomb crater and stuff like that. And then over to the east there is, as I say, little raised platform, metal structure, and beyond that the running north-south, but to the east of you, the rails of some sort of, presumably way back in ancient times, some sort of way of conveying things from place to place. And people-wise, there are yourselves. There is a bad-mannered giant mutant pig, who is claims to be a sergeant in the Bonapartist army, and also in the vicinity, he is standing in the south part of the metal structure next to Okma, and then within and around the metal structure are his minions, who are a dabber and a badder and another porker. There are pictures of these sorts of creatures in the book. If you want, I can show them to you. But a badder is a giant mutant badger with a bad attitude, whereas a dabber is a giant mutant raccoon with a bad attitude.
Oh no!
Well, maybe they don't. You may notice a theme developing here.
I have definitely noticed.
I will not digress on the problem with the monsters, which is that they are all monsters essentially. They have any personality. They're just thinking bad attitudes. And then there's another porker who is a mutant pig. I will tell you that this one has, but is not currently on, a motorcycle.
Right. Okay.
Being a roadhog.
Yes.
Right. They are, I would say, around and about the metal structure that they were working on. They were decorating it with these little silvery discs, which probably you're familiar with. The agents seem to love them. They have a picture on one side and a silver sign on the other side. And if you find a nice one, they glitter very nicely, iridescently in the sun from the catch the radioactive glow coming off the river.
So beautiful.
So we were just at the beginning of a combat round where the sergeant had exhorted his comrades to join in the fight, which had until that point been fairly inconclusive until he was viciously assaulted, shot and beaten by Geiger and Optima. And they are leaping into action, and I have already rolled initiative for the other his friends. Two of whom are now about to act.
Yeah. Are they?
They have been holding officially. They have been holding their action, their turn from the beginning of this combat round.
And I remember we already rolled initiative last time, didn't we?
We did, and the initiative order is currently the pig sergeant was going first, then Laker, then Optima, and then Geiger.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see as we go along where the other ones fit into that. So, who goes next? The dabber, which is the raccoon, giant mutated raccoon. He is standing just outside the metal structure, and he's going to take his turn, and he is going to move, and then probably do something violent. Okay, so he goes there. He runs away from you because you're scary and you kill people, and is now hiding behind the metal structure. So he is partially cover.
I see.
From all of us?
I will draw lines on that in a minute, but yes, he's probably partially covered because he's hiding behind the big metal bin. And then I will orientate you more directly as to where you are in relation to him in a moment. What is he going to do? He is going to shoot someone dangerous, which is probably Geiger. So I will make an attack roll for him.
You sneaky little bastard.
Oh, and he got a 24 versus AC.
I don't even need to check to tell you that he hit me.
Okay, but hey, you're armored, you'll be fine. That is 9 physical damage as he shoots you with his. He's got a rifle and he shoots you with that.
Mm-hmm.
The sneaky chap. Meanwhile, the who goes next? The badger with the bad attitude goes next, and he.
Oh my god! Both of them came in before their boss, who was already ahead of all of us.
Yep.
Okay.
To be fair, their boss has now had his turn, so
Okay.
these two they got very good rolls on their initiative.
I see this.
Actually,
Yes.
I did actually. Right, what's he going to do? He is. So he's standing in the bandstand, and he is. He picks up his crossbow that he was holding,
Oh my God.
which he wasn't holding. It was on the
These
floor,
guys
so
are
he's
all-
picking it up.
I thought these guys were just building a structure and they're armed to the teeth.
They're in the army, and they were almost at one point they had a little teepee of weapons, but only 2 of them have guns, so I didn't bother with that.
Have you ever seen an unarmed raccoon or badger in your life? I haven't. So
what does he do? He does a clever shot with his crossbow. I made him pick it up, so he's losing his minor action to do that. Put to one side while he was doing interior decorating. But he is shooting
I
out
always put
Okma
down
with
my
his
crossbow when I do that.
He, however, only gets a 20 versus AC with his shot against Okma.
Oh, ouch. Only a 20. It only hits me.
Okay, right. Now, because he is a clever shooter, this has distracted you enough that you would be granting combat advantage until the end of his next turn. But he does 8 physical damage.
Okay. I will
Which
take
I believe
3.
some-
Yes, I will take 3 points of physical damage. And I would like to add the colorful narration that he managed to strike me right between the eyes, and I am looking about confused, wondering who was close enough somehow to hit me right between the eyes, unaware that this was a projectile. I'm like, wait, what was that? So I'm very confused.
And so he also shifted slightly away from him, so he is now standing beside the moving, trying to get the metal structure between you and him.
Yes, I have.
Not very tight. So that means they've had their turns, and it's now Laker's turn. And I will quickly give you some slightly more detailed directions as to where these people are. So, Laker, you are currently standing with the metal structure directly to your north. The steps that came up from where you were previously are directly behind you, to your west. The dabber who shot with his rifle is hiding 10 squares away from you and partially in cover. And he is almost directly to your east. Geiger is just next to you and just behind you. The sergeant is standing directly next to Okma, who is 2 squares to your north. The badger, which is the angry badger, is about 6 squares away from you and to the north. So they are basically almost directly behind Okma, but slightly to one side. And the other pig who hasn't done anything yet, he's standing inside the metal structure. He is also 5 squares away from you, but to the not quite northeast, more like northeast. I don't know if my directions and ordinals are helping at all with anyone knowing where anything is. And in terms of people, those are all the people who are around. There is a small crowd gathering behind you
This is quite
down
a
the bank,
spectacle.
watching this excitement. But,
Yes.
particularly after they heard gunfire.
Well, for some reason, it's the same crew that tore up the Knights of Genetic Purity and then went up here and started causing trouble. Clearly, we are a violent and unruly bunch.
Well,
we just know our rights, and we take advertisements seriously. So
yes,
this is a problem.
I'm finding I have a deep difficulty with their help desk protocol.
Yes,
me too. Later, what would you like to do?
Yes, what would I like to do? Given that the sergeant is 2 squares away from me, even though I don't know how he got there without me getting an opportunity to kind of stick him. But,
on his last round, he did a shift, which is a 1 square move, which doesn't provoke attack of opportunity.
And put him 2 squares away, which keeps me safe if I won't move around him, so I'm fine with it.
Okay. He is standing directly next to Okma. Yes.
Would the structure be a hinder for my telekinetic wave?